Good morning, family. Uh, how are you doing? My name is Chad. I'm coming to you from Rehoboth Beach. We're down here in the wilderness at the camper, taking a break. So this morning I'm going to talk about what exactly is addiction and what the Word of God says about, how we heal from our addictions and our addictive nature. And my goal is to bring people, to the foot of the cross through the healing Word of God to deal with our problems and to be able to stand strong in our against our addictions, against our enemies, against the way we think, against the way we live, through our separation from the Lord. And if you're not exactly sure what you think about God right now, or what you think about uh, Jesus, or if you're mad, or you have resentments, whatever it may be, you're in the right place. It's I'm just gonna we're gonna walk through this lessons at a time. So today is going to be the first lesson. What exactly is addiction? We're going to define addiction. We're also going to use the steps. This is an amazing tool right here that we use, the 12 steps of spiritual journey. You can find it on Amazon. And I also use the Life Recovery Bible. This is a very amazing tool, and it really helps us to understand in the Word, in this season of addiction, how to get through it, how to live the life that God has planned for us, that He always had planned for us. But we decided to go another direction, or maybe it's an identity issue, the way we were raised, the lack of love that we got growing up, or the lack of stability in our families, our dysfunctional families, and our friendships, and things of that nature. So we're going to talk about step one is about recognizing our brokenness. We admitted we were powerless over the effects of our separation from God, that our lives had become unmanageable. So I'm going to read. It's called A Word About Addiction in the beginning of this Bible. It's awesome. Power is knowledge. It empowers you to understand what you're fighting against. It helps you to understand the real effects and why you're being affected like this, or why you make the decisions you make, things of that nature. So we're going to dig in. Here we go. Sometimes the first step towards overcoming an addiction is to learn something about it. There are two general categories of addiction. One category, chemical or substance addiction, results from someone ingesting alcohol or some other drug simply to feel different. Not everyone develops a chemical addiction to alcohol, but other highly addictive drugs can trap anyone who tries them. So now I looked up the definition of addiction. It's a noun, the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. That's from the dictionary. Addiction is a complex condition, a brain disease that is manifested by compulsive substance use despite harmful consequences. Psychiatry.org. Addiction, the second definition, a strong inclination to do, use, or indulge in something repeatedly. That's from Merriam-Webster. So now that we've defined exactly what addiction is, because it is complicated, a lot of times we've been asked, is it a physical disease or a spiritual disease? A brother of mine and I went down to a meeting one time, and a gentleman stood up, and he addressed this question, and the answer is yes. It's both physical and it's spiritual. Those who have begun to use alcohol to ease pain should watch for dangerous signs that indicate they are susceptible to addiction. People who develop serious alcohol issues often have the ability to handle their drinking. That is, they can drink a lot without having much of an effect on them. Another danger sign is binge drinking. When a person consumes a lot of alcohol in an evening or a weekend, but doesn't drink again for several weeks, they They point to their long stretches without alcohol as proof they don't have a dependency problem, but they do. Another danger sign is having others in the family who have a family tree who have been alcoholics. Heredity is a factor that indicates a much higher probability of becoming addicted to alcohol. Watch for these signs. They spell trouble. Becoming addicted to a drug can start innocently. We may use drugs in order to fit in with our friends, not knowing how powerfully addictive the drugs are. Sometimes people get a legitimate prescription from a doctor. It may help for a while, but then its effects wear off, and soon more and more is needed. Some people may end up actually getting prescription medications on the street, as well as through a doctor. Others try to self-medicate by using illegal drugs. It begins as a way to escape the pain, but the need for more can easily become a compulsion and then an addiction. The user feels trapped and gradually gets loaded down with shame and guilt. I know a lot of, I work in the treatment field, and I know a lot of people that come in as, especially older folks, that were prescribed these painkillers, that were prescribed for pain management through a doctor. They were legit. But back in the 90s, you know, we had a opioid crisis, and it was legal, you know, pill mills and things like that. They didn't bother to mention how addictive these painkillers are and where it takes people. And then they shut it down, and now what? Now what do you do? I've met a lot of people in that situation, and it's sad, seeing as how my situation was a lot different. I just went, you know, straight to street pharmacies, so to speak, to ease my pains, which were emotional. I was trying to hide from myself. I was trying to find comfort and fit in with other people by using drugs and alcohol, sex, violence, whatever it may be. The other general category of addiction, process addiction, involves using less obvious methods to try and handle emotional pain. These compulsive behaviors are related to a process instead of a substance, like drugs or alcohol. These behaviors start out in small ways and are seemingly innocent. Some people may think that they can control these behaviors, but when they try to stop, they realize repetitive behavior controls them. Gambling or compulsively spending money may be a way we try to deal with our problems. We may find that we are always short of money and are drawn to the excitement of gambling with its random rewards. Even video games may become our escape from a painful reality. Check it out. Decide not to play any video games, gamble online, or spend money for 30 days and see how uncomfortable it is. Each of these activities can be a process addiction. Process addictions involving eating can be a big issue. Eating is one of the things we think we can always control, but there are 3 ways eating can be a problem. One problem, overeating, happens when people look at food as a source of comfort. When they are in emotional pain, they turn to food in order to feel good again. Another eating problem involves binge eating and then having to purge what was eaten. And then there is a very serious problem of people not eating enough because they think they are fat, or some people control eating habits and chronically lose weight, leading to life-threatening physical problems. Using the internet can become a problem. Spending too much time searching the web, even interaction on social media, can keep us from living in the real world. Or pornography. A lot of people play down pornography. A lot of people that I've talked to are like, what? It's just porn. Nobody cares. It destroys your soul. It destroys your spirit. It's of the enemy. It numbs the way that you feel about people. So these are some of the ways that we may attempt to handle life problem. We can get caught up in the chemical process addictions and then get angry with ourselves because we can't stop. We can begin recovery by recognizing that it's not all our fault. But then we also need to begin to take responsibility for the choices we make. What you do in response to these problems will determine the course of life, which you know, course of life, whether you know it or not. You are in control of your choices right now. Look at the resources in the Bible and to others who understand you and love you. You should not and you cannot walk this path of recovery alone. So having said that, I just want you to know that I love you guys, and I'll be shooting another video here in a little while we're out here to try and explain more, and we can walk through this together. It's going to be a journey. So just keep coming back. We love you and we thank you. Have a blessed day.